Hello people of YouTube, my name is JD Shadow. This is a special report, your news and views program about geek gaming culture on YouTube. Coming up in the show today, Viz Media gives the Moon panel at the Anime Expo a crap ton of information about Sailor Moon S and about the dub of Sailor Moon Crystal, including cast members and a possibility that Hulu has an exclusivity deal. My name's JD Shadow and the special report will start right about now. Viz Media held their Sailor Moon panel at the Anime Expo 2015, and there is a lot of information that they gave about the upcoming Sailor Moon S dub and the Sailor Moon Crystal dub. Let's first start off with the Sailor Moon S dub. The cast members, or at least a fraction of those cast members, we don't know who the Witches 5 are yet, will be Keith Silverstein as Professor Tomo, Erica Mendez as Haruka, Christine Marie Camanos as Hotaru, and Lauren Landa as Mitru, or Sailor Neptune. If you don't know who these people are, it took me a little bit in order to figure out what these people have done in the anime world. Keith Silverstein, you might not recognize right off the bat if you don't know anything about Sword Art Online. He voiced at least 3 characters on that particular anime, and you may have heard his voice in Sailor Moon before. He voices Usagi's father. However, the other ones you might recognize. Erica Mendez did Ryoko Matoi on Kill la Kill, and Corbin in the video game Dust and Elysian Tale. Christine Marie Camanos voiced Mako on Kill la Kill, and also Madoka Kanami on Madoka Magica on that dub. So yeah, you may recognize her voice. And Lauren Landa had voiced Gyoko Saruka on Madoka Magica. And these are probably not household names, but if you watch any of those animes, you might be familiar with the voice, but not the name. And as I heard, Keith Silverstein is voicing Tomo absolutely perfectly in this dub, so there'll be a lot to look forward to, especially when we get into Sailor Moon S the dub, which is the most well-liked of all of the 5 seasons maybe put together. We've no doubt seen that a lot of Sailor Moon fans seem to gravitate toward S as the best that the series had ever got to, and for many reasons, perhaps most likely because of the Outer Senshi. We finally get to see Hotaru, we finally get to see Haruka, Mitru, and no doubt this, although Sailor Moon has been known for dark storylines before, it cranked it up to 11 with the Holy Grail and the Swallowing of Pure Hearts and all that other stuff that went down in that particular series. Yeah, it does seem as though a lot of people gravitate toward S for a lot of good reasons. So there is no doubt that people who are in the know about these particular people are going to be pleased, especially when you consider that at least 2 of these cast members are from Madoka Magica. They kind of know how to deal with dark animes. Madoka Magica was probably one of the darkest magical girl animes I have seen, and that was a hell of a surprise. I didn't really think that when I was going to watch Madoka Magica I was in for that ride, but yeah, we have seen just what exactly they can do with a magical girl anime, especially something like Madoka Magica. Now, as to whether or not you are comfortable with any of these voices being the voices of the Sailor Moon characters, Christine Marie Camanos, let me tell you about Mako. If she can voice Mako pretty well, which she does, I'm pretty sure Hotaru is going to be an easy thing for her to accomplish. Admittedly, I'm not completely familiar with the rest of the cast members, but seeing from their track record and the animes that they have voiced, I am feeling kind of comfortable about this particular dub. Viz Media has done a terrific job so far with the dub, and they have handled it with great care, and they really know what they're doing. Now, the second big announcement that they had was that the Sailor Moon Aura Part 2 Blu-ray pack is going to be released this October. Now, we don't know yet as to when pre-orders are going to be accepted. I thought that perhaps I saw a tweet that said that they were going to accept pre-orders now. However, I currently cannot find the tweet that was made. So if you hear something about it, please let me know. I will annotate this video to update the information when I get more, but I am not comfortable in saying anything more about that unless I have enough confirmation one way or the other. Please let me know in the comment section below, and if I find that out, I will annotate this video to reflect that particular piece of information. Now to Sailor Moon Crystal, and here's where things get a little bit dicey. This is where I think that some things might need to be addressed. Obviously, the first thing is a really good thing. Sandy Fox, the voice behind Chibiusa and Black Lady, had announced that she had begun to lay down tracks for the Sailor Moon Crystal dub. Now, this speaks to the effect that they are pretty far into getting the dub complete, as Sandy Fox is the voice of Chibiusa, as we had said before, and she does not appear until the very end of Act 14 of Sailor Moon Crystal. So we can probably safely say that the majority of the Dark Kingdom arc is officially done as far as the dub is concerned. At least that's what we're getting from Sandy Fox saying this. Now, that is not to say that it is set in stone that that's the case. However, we could probably safely assume that they are pretty far into laying down the tracks for the dub and getting the first episode out there. Of course, Sandy Fox was not the only person at that panel. Most of the cast was also on the panel, and they actually said their thoughts about what was different between the classic anime and Sailor Moon Crystal, what they had to adjust in order to compensate for the changes that Sailor Moon Crystal had implemented. And more to the point of getting those episodes out there, episodes 1 and 2, they said, would be available to view at the convention, although there was no indication as to whether or not they would be available for the general public to view, although we will get more into that here in just a second when we talk about what VOD services the Sailor Moon Crystal dub would be available on, and believe me, you want to stick around to hear my thoughts about that one. And to be quite honest with you, unless I missed something, this is about the first real news we've heard about the Sailor Moon Crystal dub since Viz Media officially announced that they were going to do the dub in the first place. So this is unbelievable news that they haven't forgotten about the Sailor Moon Crystal dub, and to be quite honest, it cannot come at a better time, because I have been kind of worried about the situation with Sailor Moon Crystal as a series in of itself. We haven't heard anything about a renewal from Toei Animation that they were going to. We had a few close calls before, namely the Biggs thing and the Toei Europe thing, but nothing official as of yet. And we have waited and waited and waited for somebody to say something definitive one way or another. And I had to ask Toei Animation, how hard is it to just say something, to just make an announcement one way or the other, so we are not in limbo as to what's going on? I mean, if they're saving it for a particular date, what other date would there be? The Usagi birthday, June 30th, has come and gone. This moon panel has come and gone now. What else is there? What other date is significant enough to the Sailor Moon lore that they would be waiting for? Either say that you're going to make a new series or going to continue on making new episodes of this anime, or you're not, but say something definitive. Let's hear something, Toei Animation. I mean, it is very good that you have actually tweeted something out to say that, hey, you were glad that Viz Media is doing this moon panel and that you were paying attention to it, but let's hear some of the definitive. Are you going to continue on after Act 26 of Sailor Moon Crystal in making the S series a thing or not? I don't know how hard this is, and coupled with the notion that a lot of our reaction videos have lost views lately. I have seen my Sailor Moon Crystal reaction videos drop in view count and like count. I have seen Amber's drop a little bit lately. I've seen Peachy's drop a little bit lately, and that's not normal. I mean, when we first started this whole thing, when we first started doing reaction videos and review videos of Sailor Moon Crystal, we were heading into the 10K digit of views. Now some of us smaller channels like me and Amber or Alkira, not to say they don't deserve all the views that they can possibly get, but now we are struggling to hit 1K views. And I know I shouldn't be worried about view counts or anything like that, but I'm trying to judge where our view count is in relation to people's interest in Sailor Moon Crystal as a whole. And when I see that sort of thing happen, I see that perhaps because Sailor Moon Crystal is right now our biggest draw. There's all of our biggest draws. All our channels, I got into M4G TV because of the views I got from Sailor Moon Crystal reactions and the reviews. A lot of us, all of channels grew because of this, and now we're barely hitting that mark that we used to have. And that worries me, because if we see that the view counts are decreasing, maybe that's a sign that maybe the ratings for Sailor Moon Crystal as a anime series is decreasing as well, and people's interests are waning. And if that's the case, then the fate of Sailor Moon Crystal continuing on into the S arc, or maybe the Dreams arc or the Stars arc, is in jeopardy. So I have have to say to Toei Animation, you know what? First of all, stop trying to take down our reaction videos because of the MCA, whatever it is, because quite frankly, that's hurting your bottom line here at the end of the day. But also, we need something definitive because people are starting to wonder whether or not it's actually going to continue because of the ratings and everything, just saying that you might not be willing to continue on with this anime. Just say something. How hard is this? All of these rumors, all of these different stories that they might be going on with the Sailor Moon Dreams arc or the Infinity arc or whatever other arc you might want to have there. Maybe you want to put in a new arc that no one's ever seen before. Maybe that's a possibility. You never know. Maybe they can adapt the Doomtree arc in a Crystal format. You never know. But we need something definitive. We really do need something definitive, because seeing as how the classic series is getting all of this attention and then you're not saying anything about Crystal? Excuse me? Did you not see the Moon Panel audience there at the Anime Expo? Did you not see how many people were still interested in this anime and you're doing whatever you're trying to do with Crystal? What is going on, Toei? Are you the lack of logic that we have? Especially when you consider that the only way you can safely get rid of copyright infringement is to take down videos of the very people who are trying to give exposure to an anime in the first goddamn place. I mean, come on. Before we were starting to decrease in viewership, all of our videos, our Sailor Moon Crystal reactions and or review videos, were the most watched on our channels. That should tell you something. It got me noticed by M4G TV and Maker Studios. It's gotten Amber noticed. It's gotten Peachy's channel noticed. If it wasn't for Sailor Moon Crystal, I would not have made a friend out of Peachy, or out of Amber, or out of Jason, or out of anybody else, or out of Stephanie, or anybody else who is even remotely interested in Sailor Moon. That should tell you that there is still interest in this anime. Now, whether or not our decrease in viewership, or if there is a decrease in viewership in some channels, I think Omar is probably the only one that has kept a steady viewership on his channel right now. You know what? Maybe interest will come back if we get an announcement. If we get some form of concrete news about the future of Sailor Moon Crystal. So yeah, you have to say something real soon, or else we're just gonna say, hey, you're not gonna create any more episodes. It's worthless to even attempt to get some kind of resolution. And then we get to the possibility that Viz has something to answer to. Now, let's first of all stress that this is not official as of yet, but this seems to be more official than not. Apparently, someone has the rumor that they heard from a Hulu representative that had a kiosk at the Anime Expo, which by the way was showing Seinfeld for all things at an Anime Expo. I have no idea. It makes sense out of that one. Will have exclusive rights to the Sailor Moon Crystal dub. There is no word on how long this exclusivity deal is going to be for, or if it's even timed. So basically what they did was Hulu became Microsoft and Sailor Moon Crystal became Rise of the Tomb Raider. This is not very good for the consumer if it turns out to be true. Again, we have no confirmation as of yet. However, it seems to be official because again, this is just somebody who said they heard a Hulu rep say this. Now, this is a lot different from, say, what Netflix is doing with Gotham, because Gotham was already aired on Fox and it was already available through Amazon Prime Instant Video. Although you had to buy those episodes one at a time, or possibly buy the whole season for a discounted amount in order to access the video for it. Here, it is the first run episodes of the dub. Let me tell you a little bit about why this is a bad thing if true. First things first, it is bad for the consumer. How many video on demand services do you think we can stomach paying for? We have Netflix, we have Crunchyroll, we have Crackle, we have whatever Epix is, we have the WWE Network, we have Hulu, we have Amazon Prime Instant Video. How many of these things do you think we have to subscribe to? This whole thing with exclusivity deals, even the one with Netflix and Gotham, even though I understand that Gotham has already been on Fox and it might be a little bit different than what this is. Not everybody has disposable funds, and when you subscribe to things like Netflix and Amazon Prime and WWE Network and Hulu and Crunchyroll and all these other things, and you pay all these fees a month for getting all of these different VOD services in every little way, these do add up. I mean, if you take take all of these services put together, you might be looking at $50. Not everybody has that much money in order to just throw around because they need to worry about exclusivity deals that one particular VOD service has with a particular show that they don't produce. Now, I can understand if Netflix has a hand in creating something like Daredevil or House of Cards or something along those lines. That I can possibly understand if they have a hand in producing the actual show. But in this case, they have absolutely no say in producing the show. Hulu has no say in what Viz Media does with Sailor Moon Crystal or Sailor Moon or whatever. Now, this whole thing does not apply to the classic series if it turns out to be true. And again, I want to stress that because I don't feel comfortable in saying, hey, this is confirmed or is unconfirmed until I get more information than what I currently have. But here's the thing. One of the reasons why I didn't go to Crunchyroll to use Sailor Moon Crystal right away is because I already subscribed to Hulu. I already subscribed to Hulu for a number of other things, and I did not want an extra $7 a month going out for something that I can get through other means. Now, lately, I'll tell you about the other reason why this might not be the best deal for consumers. But I didn't think that I would be watching other animes. I didn't think that that was going to blossom into other anime reactions. So I just didn't bother to subscribe to Crunchyroll, even though it was on my PS3. I was already subscribed to Netflix. I was already subscribed to WWE Network. I was already subscribed to those other things. I didn't want all that other stuff going into these VOD services. So it would make sense that, hey, I'm going to stick with Hulu because that's what I know. That's the one I use the most often, and that's the one that is going to be cheaper for my pocketbook. Now, lately, that is not to be the case because there's another aspect to this whole thing, and that is the quality of Hulu. Around Act 16, Act 17, I can't remember the exact act that it was, the video seemed to crap out on me. It just seemed to stop. It just seemed to go all pixelated, and it just made the video unwatchable for me. I couldn't even view anything that they were doing there. And at another time, the anime just froze. The picture just froze for me, but the subtitles kept going. And I have to wonder if Hulu knows what they're doing as far as quality control is concerned, because Crunchyroll did not have that problem. I tried a couple of times to get that particular episode to go as far as showing me the visual aspects of what was going on in that particular scene, and it did not do anything there either. So I tried a couple of times and nothing happened. Nothing changed. It was still subtitles only while Artemis was there striking a pose. I was like, what's going on here? Why am I not seeing any other movement? It was like seeing still pictures as a television show, and that's not exciting. Now, to be fair, Crunchyroll has a bit of an issue as well, that sometimes the entire stream will just stop dead center. It will not move past that particular point, and I have to reload the page in order to get that particular scene to continue, in order to get that particular episode to continue. You saw that in Act 24 of my reactions when I had to do that, and I showed that to you in order to show just what exactly is part of the problem with Crunchyroll as well. None of these are perfect, and they all have their good aspects and they all have their bad aspects, and that's why people prefer a couple of particular VOD services over others. Now, if you force somebody into a particular VOD service, you run the risk of it being subpar quality as to in comparison to what you are probably used to. When I said that I was going to switch to Crunchyroll after the Act 16 debacle, or Peachy responded to me saying that she doesn't know why people would use Hulu. Crunchyroll is a far better service as far as quality is concerned. And I have to agree. Crunchyroll is a much better service than Hulu Plus is in this particular aspect, because when I saw Crunchyroll for the first time, I saw a sharper picture. I saw a better quality picture. I saw true 1080p anime. It didn't seem as though the Hulu stream was at 1080p. It seemed to be upscale 1080p. When I saw the very same episode on Crunchyroll, I saw that it was sharper. I saw that it was more or less 1080p native resolution as far as that was concerned, and I never looked back. And it was commercial free. There was no commercials to be had there as long as you paid for everything. With Hulu Plus, even if you get the Plus service, you're still going to see ads. You cannot get around it. And even if you have AdBlock Plus on your computer, there's going to be a 1-minute pause in between when you see the the break happened and when they returned to the show. There is no getting around the 1 minute intermission you're going to see. And that is unfortunate because you are paying for that service. You are paying to have that service. So why are we still seeing ads on that service, Hulu? Why are we still doing that? We are paying $7 a month to have the privilege to view your service on other platforms. So why do we have to still see ads even though we are paying for it? And that is another reason why some people might not want to choose Hulu Plus. After I went and started viewing Sailor Moon Crystal on Crunchyroll, I really have no reason to view Hulu Plus now. I really haven't used Hulu Plus, even though I'm still paying for it. I really don't use it all that much. I mean, I would get on there to watch the Sailor Moon subs, and that's probably about it. There was really nothing else that I would be interested in seeing on Hulu. I would go more on Netflix. I would go more on Crunchyroll because those have more shows that I want to watch. And I can make sense of this to some extent because Viz Media does have a good relationship with Hulu Plus. They do have a good relationship because they put Neon Alley on there. They put a lot of what they have on Neon Alley onto Hulu as well. So it might make sense for that to go about. And plus, Sailor Moon has been a really big success for Hulu. Us anime fans, us Sailor Moon fans, what do you think we probably got Hulu Plus for? It's not for any of the other shows they had on the network on that particular service, although there might be other things on the service we might like. It ended up being Sailor Moon that we got service for. So they probably are looking to the bottom line of that and seeing how they got there and thinking, you know what, maybe it's worth it in order to get this as well because it is going to be huge for our service if we get something like this. But again, this is not confirmed yet. Please, let's not get carried away here just yet. But seeing as how someone heard this from a Hulu Plus representative when they were at the Anime Expo, something tells me that this is more confirmed than we might think. So yeah, this seems to take away consumer choice, and I'm not a real big fan of it. I mean, I have Hulu Plus, so I could safely say that I would be able to watch it, and it's kind of easy to get Hulu Plus at this point, but it's still taking away a choice from the consumer. A choice that one person, if they saw that a particular anime looks better on one service than another, they're not going to be too happy with having to take another service that might have subpar quality. Especially when you consider when Crunchyroll just looks better. An anime on Crunchyroll just feels and looks better on Crunchyroll than Hulu. And if this is true, there is more to this than just the VOD services. What about Toonami? What about any other network that might have wanted this? What if somebody actually thinks that Toonami would be a good choice for this particular anime? This might not be the best deal for investors either. Now, when I first saw this go down, I saw a bunch of tweets saying that this particular network isn't going to get it, or this particular network isn't going to get it. I couldn't see a network like Nickelodeon getting something like Sailor Moon Crystal because that's not their style. Nickelodeon is a kids network, and Sailor Moon Crystal, especially the classic series, is not exactly a kids show. Let me tell you, it is pretty dark and it has pretty adult themes to it. So I don't think Nickelodeon would get it. Now, Toonami would definitely get it, and more to the point, I think they would get it because not only does it fit their schedule, not only does it fit their style, but it is a series that has been on Toonami before. Dragon Ball Z has been on Toonami before. Sailor Moon was on Toonami during their golden age. That was when Toonami was at its best. When they had Sailor Moon, DBZ, Reboot, they had Ronin Warriors, they had Gundam Wing on there. That was the golden age of Toonami, to my opinion. And if you had something like that on the Toonami schedule, wow, you would bring back a lot of nostalgia to those golden years when that was the peak of Toonami, back when it was a weekday thing. And no, I am not saying that this is going to be something that is going to make or break Sailor Moon Crystal, because quite frankly, this is a tremendous amount of news, and this is a very good thing to hear some new news about this particular dub, because we haven't heard anything yet. We haven't heard anything up to this point, and now finally we're hearing something about it. But I would like to hear that Hulu Plus got this deal because of something that they have in their service that would make the actual experience better, and not just because they drove into Viz's parking lot with a crap ton of cash in their trucks. I would like to hear that it has something to do with something other than, hey, we gave more money to them than the competitors did. Okay, that's going to do it for this edition of the Special Report. My name is JD Shadow. A Sailor Moon Crystal reaction will be coming out tomorrow as best as I can possibly get it, given the fact that it is going to be the 4th of July tomorrow, so please be advised of that. It may be sort of tight to try to get it out there. However, if I don't see you again before then, have a great Independence Day if you're watching in the States. If you're watching any other place, then Of course, you are in the free world, so celebrate your own independence however you see fit. As long as it's legal, then go ahead and do it your own way. My name is JD Shadow. Speaking of independence, support all forms of independent journalism. That just happened.